Hey guys, welcome back for episode 1 of our F123 My Team Career Mode. In today's episode, we're going to be taking on the Bahrain Grand Prix in our brand new Andretti Gainbridge F1 car as the 11th team on the grid. Right now, we're just going to get into some aerodynamic upgrades for the car, making it more aerodynamic, better in the corners, less drag on the straights. And then now we're just going to get right into the race weekend. We're going to go straight to qualifying to see where we can put our car for the grid to start on Sunday. Alright, and into qualifying, we go into the first corner. We just missed the apex, missed the braking point, a little bit over the curb. Now going down the straight, we open up our DRS. Now towards the end of the lap now, going into one of the final corners of the lap. Go onto the straight, put down to the floor, open the DRS, and across the line, we are last of the qualifiers, putting in a 34.7 lap time, putting us P12. Now on to our final flying lap of qualifying. Into the second sector, green first sector, 1.2 seconds up. Into the second last corner of the lap, nail the apex, foot to the floor. Stroll is racing us down the straight, but we're going to try and get a better entrance and exit into the corner. Try not to sacrifice much lap time. Into the final corner, we have to go a little wide of the apex to the Stroll, but we're up 1.3 seconds. And across the line, we are P22. Despite over 1.3 seconds gain, we still are starting 22nd on the grid for our first race in F1. And you can see our teammate Jack Doohan just P21, so terrible qualifying for our team. Let's get into the race.
For today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And the smooth operator Carlos Sainz completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Perez, Russell, Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Norris, Gasly, Tsunoda, Albon, Hulkenberg, Joe, Oscar Piastri, Bottas, Sargent, De Vries, Magnussen, Doohan, the rookie, Doohan. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then.
And we're away from the formation lap. We're just going to try and warm our tires up behind the pack. Starting P21 because Lance Stroll gets a penalty. So P20 and P21 for the Andretti F1 team. It's a slight improvement for the team, but not too drastic. I don't think we're going to be fighting for big points this race, but we'll see what we can do. Especially with the chaos that the first race of the season might bring. We're going to try and get a jump on everyone going into turn 1, so we're going to need a good parking here in our grid slot. Try to give us the jump on everyone else. Just trying to do a few burnouts to warm the tires up a bit more. And into the grid slot, it is a purple parking. 0.7 meters out. And now the 5 lights up. And away we go in Bahrain. We had a slow start, have to lift off the throttle a little bit, but we passed Oscar and Kevin Magnussen. Now we're going for a move on Nick De Vries into turn 1. We go to the inside, try and go side by side and jump a few positions. We're fighting for about P14 here. We got pushed a little wide, lose all the positions we just gained, and now us and our teammate P18 and P19 just behind the AlphaTauri of Nick De Vries. Going into turn 1 second behind Esteban Ocon on the hard tires. then into the tricky braking zone and the downhill left-hand hairpin. Nail the apex. Try and get a run on Joe. Trying to save our DRS for defense in case Stroll or DeVries goes for a move on us. Stroll 3/10 behind us, DeVries 9/10 behind us, and closing, and we're following over the DRS of Guan Yu Zhou.
Alright, let's focus now for the rest of the race.
We gotta try and catch Joe back up so that we can stay in his DRS for lap 3 and try and help us with a defense on Lance Stroll in a much faster Aston Martin car starting P22nd, which somehow he surprisingly made a jump, which the AIs don't usually get a big jump on in turn 1. They're usually pretty cautious going into turn 1. And Stroll going side by side in a faster car than us. We're going to try and outbrake him into the hairpin. Later on the brakes than him, nearly hit the back of Zhou, goes super deep into the braking zone, completely missed the apex. Now onto the straight, going into turn 4. And there we go, towards the end of Sector 1 we go. We've caught Zhou a bit back in his DRS, 7/10 behind him, and closing in the braking zone. Pulls away, gets a better exit than us, but now into the downhill hairpin we go, sticking it to the apex, still perfect on the brakes, staying right behind Zhou, staying in the slipstream to try and get DRS off of Zhou for the next lap. And that's towards the end of lap 2 we go, 8/10 behind Zhou, and he's pulling away, and Lance Stroll is going for a move on us.
Okay,
We're trying to defend, but we don't have that much DRS. He passes at the apex, but we get a better exit than him, going side by side down the main straight. Past the DRS marker, we're side by side, barely separated by anything. A couple hundredths between us. He's pulling away into the braking zone. We're going to go to the inside of the braking zone, outbrake ourselves a bit and miss the apex. We push Stroll wide. He goes for the switchback on us, but we defended into turn 2. And we get DRS off of him because he was ahead of us.
Okay, information on Verstappen. Right, they've got a
And
serious
Verstappen's
car
out of the
issue.
race.
Looks like they're retiring.
And it looks like Verstappen, his car just decided to stop working, or his engine, or something with that Honda engine stopped working. And your race leader, pole sitter Max Verstappen, is out of the race, and Lance Stroll has a 5-second penalty. Now into the second last lap, second last corner, the last corner, apologies. 2/10 ahead of Stroll, and he's closing in on us. We don't have DRS off of Zhou, no ERS left, and Stroll is just going to pull away from us. 3/10 ahead. Now we're going to try and stay behind him in the braking zone. Think about going for a move, we don't go for one. Now into turn 2 to try and stick it behind him. He catches up. He doesn't get DRS off Zhou, but we're going to DRS off him. Maybe try to go for a move at the end of turn 4. We think about it and we don't go for it. Follow him into the end of Sector 1. Through the S's. Another green sector. Faster lap times coming in from us on the softs. Nail the apex. Get a good exit of this corner. Try and get a run on Stroll, just like Alonso and Hamilton in the first race of the season. We don't go for it in the hairpin, but we're going to try and get him on the straight with the DRS we just got off of him. A little bit of oversteer, so we have to lift off. And that helps Stroll pull away from us, and Oscar Piastri gets a chance, closing in 1.3 seconds behind. Honestly, I don't feel the car is that good right now, especially in the slow corners and the exits. We don't have that much downforce to help us through the corners, so I can't put my foot down that easily. But now on to the back straight we go, chasing Stroll, 1.2 seconds behind him, 1.2 seconds ahead of Piastri. We're not going to have any DRS down this straight, but we're going to try and gain on Stroll in the braking zones, because I think that's where we're faster than him. Now on to the beginning of lap 5. Into Sector 2, Stroll still with the penalty, but Oscar has closed the 1 second gap and is now going to have DRS on us going into turn 4. We're too far ahead of him for him to go for a move, but he's definitely going to try and go for one on the next straight after the hairpin. And we got big oversteer moment out of turn 4. Have to completely lift off the throttle, and that gives Oscar Piastri a huge run on us. Less than 2/10 behind us going into one of the last corners of Sector 1. Or the beginning of Sector 2, my apologies. Now going into the downhill braking zone, 2/10 ahead of Piastri. We go defensive and completely miss the apex, going super wide on the exit. Somehow we stay ahead, but Oscar's gonna have a run on us with DRS. 1/10 behind us. We're pulling away. He goes side by side. We go defensive on the inside line. We push him off, and now he has to tuck back in behind us. Some amazing racing out of the AIs, especially Oscar Piastri, who's going for some mega moves. We go super wide on the exit of the corner, but we nail the apex in the entrance. Good exit. Try to defend from Oscar. We use all the ERS we can to try and defend from him. Going into the last corner, he tries to push us wide. We go super wide line, side by side through the final corner. Down the main straight we go, and we get DRS off Piastri, so we basically just defended ourselves from the move. We should be able to pull away, pull ahead of him, and get rid of this gap that he just closed. We have Nick DeVries coming for a move, 3/10 behind. We missed the apex. We get too distracted on the other 2 cars behind us. Now Piastri's gonna have DRS on us going down the straight. Into turn 4, Piastri's fighting with Nick DeVries. Fighting for P18 in the Bahrain Grand Prix. Completely out of the points, but still some mega objectives and some mega points finishes available for all the teams in this championship. The downhill braking zone. We've now pulled a second out of Piastri. Lance Stroll still pulling away, but we're out of the DRS and threat of Oscar Piastri and Nick DeVries, who've been fighting for most of this lap. Now at the end of lap 6, Oscar's closed the gap again, less than a second. He's gonna have DRS down this main straight.
We're approaching the pit window and you're going to be on mediums. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 2.8 seconds.
I've decided that we're gonna try and go for the later pit stop, usually with a second driver's pit, because we're fighting all the second drivers of the team, so we're gonna try and stay ahead of them in the pits. So that should be around lap 9, I believe, or 10.
Okay, gap
Oscar
ahead
Piastri
is
just under 2/10
seconds.
behind us going through the S's. Beginning of sector 2 we go 1.6 ahead of Oscar. Big oversteer moment at the exit of the corner, but stay on the throttle. And this is us going wide at the exit of the hairpin. It's going to give Oscar Piastri a huge run on us. We put the foot down, try and pull away from him on the straight. He's trying to go side by side. We go defensive on the outside line and keep it ahead of Oscar. Nearly halfway through the race, we've moved up 4 positions into P17. Lance Stroll now P15 from P22. And Oscar Piastri chasing us for P17. Now Oscar Piastri going for a move down the main straight. Opens DRS. Passes us before the braking zone. Now we're going to try and go to the inside of him in the braking zone. Go for the move side by side in the hairpin. We pull up. We come out ahead of Oscar Piastri into turn 2. And we even get DRS off of him to help us out on this straight. And he taps us, nearly sends us into a spin. We have to lift off. Gives Oscar Piastri a run on us into the 5th corner. We push him onto the curb to force him out behind us. Now, after red sector 1, which is to be expected, especially from that contact we had with Piastri. And that's towards the end of lap 8 we go. Still ahead of Piastri, but barely, and Magnussen has closed the gap to us. Our pit window's lap 9, but we're going to think about going in on lap 10. Try and stay ahead of the other drivers that we're fighting for position with, especially Oscar Piastri. Back down the inside of turn 1 we go. Side by side through the exit. We give him space at turn 2. We get all up on the curb. And we get DRS off of him to help us down the straight. Now Oscar Piastri, Magnussen, and Nick de Vries fighting. 3-way fight for P18 right now as we just chill out ahead of all 3 of them. %, tire wear on the rears, 35 on the fronts. We're going to think about coming in soon. These soft tires are starting to fall off the cliff and we're not having that much grip around the track. And a track like Bahrain where we need that grip is super scary and super sketchy around the lap. As you see us going wide at the hairpin. Staying ahead of Oscar Piastri, 2 tenths ahead, 7 tenths ahead of Magnussen. Into the fast right-hander, full throttle into 7th gear, braking down into 4th gear, hit the apex, and foot to the ground near the exit. Oscar Piastri gets a run on us in a much faster car he's in. He tries to cut us off, but we push him wide at the apex, stay ahead of him, but he's gonna have DRS on us down the straight. Into turn 1, finally not fighting anyone into turn 1, lap 10. Going into turn 3 now. Oscar Piastri's behind us with DRS open, going for a move on us. Now, we go to the end of lap 10, we're going to peel into the pits this lap. Try and stay ahead of all the second drivers that we're going to be racing. Into the pit, make sure we're behind the speed limit. There we go, 69. Nice. Into the pit box we go. And it's a purple turn-in. Should help us stay ahead of Oscar Piastri. Teammate goes for the double stack. Not hindering his race, especially because he's last place. And we're behind Oscar Piastri at the pit exit. So now we're going to try and size up a move into turn 1 so that we don't have to race him on cold tires. We try and go late braking into the hairpin. We go super wide, push him wide at the apex. We come out ahead of him right at the pit exit. Oscar Piastri gets a little moment at the exit. Let's go onto the curb. But we've now pulled away 7 tenths in one sector because of our little cheat at the pit exit. Something Lewis Hamilton would be proud of. Now hopefully Oscar Piastri and Nick de Vries can fight each other so we can pull a better gap to them and not have to worry about them hindering our race or making contact with us in any battles that we're going to have with them. But I'm telling you right now, these fresh medium tires feel so much better than those softs that we just pit off of. We have so much more grip even on the harder tire, but it's because it's fresher that's giving us a better traction throughout all the corners. Especially this corner coming up, you could see that we had so much more grip on the throttle so much earlier at the exit. Just hit all the apexes, get perfect turn-ins there. Bahrain is a track that the AI are strong at, so that's why you see Oscar Piastri getting so much time on the exits. But into third gear, side by side at the exit. And we're going to get DRS off of Oscar Piastri to try and help us pull ahead of him into the braking zone at least. Side by side into the braking zone. Who can brake later? We brake at the 100-meter board. Oscar Piastri on the inside of the hairpin. We're going to try and push him wide of the second apex. We push him completely onto the curve, try and help us out. 3 cars all riding each other's gearbox into turn 4. Down into third gear. Early on the throttle, try and give us a better exit than the rest of the cars. We've pulled a little bit of a gap. 3 tenths to Oscar Piastri. He's probably going to end up closing down the next few corners. Bahrain's never been a track I was strong at, but in this game, I feel a lot better on Bahrain than I have in most other F1 games, especially with the new handling model. 3/10 ahead of Oscar going into the hairpin. Lap 12, down down the straight of the second sector, going into the fast sweeping sector, down into 4th gear into a fast left-hander. Early on the throttle, foot to the floor to make it into 7th gear for the second corner. We're into 7th gear. Now down back into 4th for this apex. Nail the apex, get a nice exit, use all the curve you can. Oscar Piastri's going for a move on us. We're going to try and keep him behind us down on lap 12, going on to lap 13 here. To the final corner, down to 3rd gear. 8% of ERS saved for this defense on Oscar. Down to 5, 4, 3, past start-finish line.
Keep on it, you might
36,
make a mistake.
8. But Oscar's completely flown past us. Same with De Vries. Go to the inside, squeeze between the two cars when we come out ahead of the end at the exit. Get DRS to help us finish off the move. And Piastri and De Vries are now fighting for P18. Now we're going to try and have our own race here. Keep it safe, keep the car safe. Try not to make any mistakes and bring the car home safely. 1.5 seconds off of Oscar Piastri, a green first sector. A little wide at the apex, but it's okay. We can make it all up on the straight and the exit.
Okay, be aware, there's an incident in the next part of the track. No overtaking through the yellow flags.
Now beginning of lap 14 into turn 4, and you have Guan Yu Zhou has spun it at the exit of turn 4. Must have just gone on the throttle too early. We're gonna pass him, continue on with our race.
Okay, and that's a red
And
flag.
race
Red
control has
flag. Keep
brought
the
out the
delta
red
positive.
flag
Let's have you
for
straight
the
into
car
pit lane,
facing the
please.
wrong way. Now we bring it back to the pits and we get a free change of tires. So we're gonna go for a move and switch on to softs.
We've done all right so far.
For the
but
race
this is a chance to
restart.
take a breath. We've got another
We're gonna
half
have
of this race to
5
go,
laps
and
of
there's a big
racing
opportunity there.
to decide the first race of the season. 5 laps on fresh soft tires. Now we're gonna go on to the red flag restart here.
It's good to get back on track.
Fresh soft tires for 5 laps. 5 lights up. And away we go for the restart on lap 16 of the Bahrain Grand Prix. And Oscar Piastri is it going slow off the line. He must have a problem with his car because he's brought out the yellow flags in Sector 1 into the hairpin. P12 fighting alongside Albon. Now P13 behind Bottas. And Oscar Piastri's gone slow off the line. And his engine must have just broken at the restart. Must not have been able to handle the second restart of the race, or must not have been tested before the season, pre-season testing. But he is out of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Now fighting for P12 between us and Valtteri Bottas. Into the downhill braking zone. 4/10 behind Bottas. We're going to try and go for a move just like Alonso side by side. We'll think twice about it. Onto the straight, early on the throttle, foot to the floor. Get in his slipstream, try and catch him. He's pulling away 3.5 tenths now. Nearly 4 tenths. Into the fast sector. 6th gear, 7th gear around the corner. Make sure not to go too far over that inside curb. Now hit the apex. 4th gear. Get into his slipstream, try and pull some time on Bottas down the straight. Into the final corner. We're now 3.5 tenths behind Valtteri Bottas. Trying to get into his slipstream and catch him. 5% ERS left after that first lap. Going for a move into turn 1. We nearly hit Albon. Just missed the Williams, but we stay ahead of Valtteri Bottas in turn 2.
Nice
Hit
work,
the
mate.
apex.
That brings you up a place.
Now Bottas and Sargent 3 wide into turn 4. And Bottas hits us, nearly sending us into a spin, just like Oscar Piastri did a few laps ago. Will we push him wide on the entrance to the corner? Stay ahead of him on the medium tires. Now just over 3 laps to go, we're around P12 of the first race of the season, going into the downhill braking zone. 1.5 seconds behind Albon because that collision we had with Bottas. Now on to lap 18 we go. Bottas is going for a move on us down the straight. We're going to try and go back at him into turn 1. Trying to brake later than him. Side by side into turn 1. We push him wide at the apex. We both go wide. But into turn 2 we are ahead by half a second because of his disturbed racing line he had to take. Go over the curb at the end of sector 1, cause us to go wide at the apex, and now Bottas could have a run on us into the downhill braking zone. But we blocked the move, and now onto the end of lap 18, through the final corner, 3 tenths ahead of Bottas, and he's gaining on us side by side down the straight. DRS is open for him, and now he pulls 3 tenths away from us on the straight. Too far for us to go for a move. Will we tuck in behind him? Nearly 3 wide into the hairpin, but Stroll beside us. We make him tuck in behind us. And now we have DRS off of Bottas to try and keep us ahead of Lance Stroll and Logan Sargent in the Williams. Now on to lap 20, into sector 3 we go. Just finishing sector 2 now, into the fast left-hander in 4th gear. 8% ERS save. It looks like it might be a drag race down the straight with Lance Stroll and the Aston Martin, which is a race he should probably win. Nail the apex, get a perfect exit. DRS deployed, help us gain speed down the straight. Lance Stroll right behind us, riding our gearbox into the final corner. We stay ahead of him. And now it's on defense for the main straight. Try to stop this drag race because it's definitely a race he's going to win off of us. Pulling behind us, and he can't pass us down the main straight. And that's the end of the Bahrain Grand Prix in Season 1 of our F123 My Team Career Mode.
Well, Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today, but what set them apart from the rest?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their head.
Red Bull are our winners today. Let's have a quick look at how the drivers'
So your top
standings have
3 are
changed.
looking
And in the Drivers'
like Sergio
Championship,
Perez,
the points that
Carlos
Sergio
Sainz,
Perez
and
earned
Charles
today
Leclerc.
see him take over the lead. Now, let's discuss
And
that.
because
Who
of
would
the
you
red
say is a
flag
contender
glitch
for
that was in the
driver of
game
day?
earlier, because I
Often
took
my
a while to edit this video because I was on a trip, we finished P16 because that's where we were before the red flag flew. And the red flag restarts do not count. But now after this update that came out a day or 2 ago, it does count. So the glitch is now fixed with any episodes after, I believe, race episode 3. I'll be on the new patch, but episode 2 I still have to get out to you guys, and that's still on the old patch with the broken red flags. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys in a few days for episode 2. Sorry this video took so long just away and I couldn't get to editing the video. I love you guys. Hope to see you again in a few days. Peace.